Hello, how's it going? I was talking about the past now. I've talked about it a few times before, about some people who live in the past and some people who don't, but then they kind of throw everything that's been in the past out with the bathwater. And no, it's not that kind of bathwater, but and these days I think it's become more prevalent where people want to rewrite history, rewrite and try and interpret and put their own points of view on it. They just don't understand a lot of things, like if you were in that position way back then, that you would have done the exact same thing or something similar, and they'll go, no, I wouldn't have, I would have done this. Go, no, the situation entirely is different context. The world was different, people were different, attitudes were different, you would have been raised differently. You might still have those thoughts, but a lot of things you get away with doing now you wouldn't have back then, and a lot of things you can't get away with now you could back then. A lot of it is quite interesting to me, how people want to just throw away everything that was good in the past and replace it with what they think is new. Here's a heads up, it's not new. A lot of things that have happened in the past will happen again, and there's a reason for that, because it keeps going around in cycles. And human nature and just the way people are, like genetics, society finds its own level and all that sort of stuff. So I don't understand when people want to rewrite history and try and reinterpret it, and not try and actually understand what actually happened and learn lessons from it and take the good stuff. There was good stuff when people talk about, oh my God, way back when, and blah blah blah, going, look, you know what, there was a lot of good stuff back then, okay? So yeah, there were some bad things, but that doesn't mean you throw out all the good things. If anything, it's a real tragedy that you do throw out the good things and just concentrate on the bad things, because then you can't bring the good things into the present or into the future and make that a part of the whole, and increase and raise up society, your friends, your lifestyle, whatever, up to that level. What you're doing is you're just completely wiping everything clean. You know what that means? It means you're going to make the same mistakes over again, which means that what happened in the past is actually going to happen again, including all the bad stuff. And you may not even be able to appreciate the good stuff and recognize the good stuff because you just thrown it all away. That's the tragedy, I guess, when I think a lot of people break up, grow apart, is that they don't want to recognize all the good things that were still happening. I think that's why some people, I guess, they break up in a bad way. When I remember someone asking me one time, if it didn't break up badly, then why did you break up? And I'm like, well, because I didn't want it to break up badly, because I want to still have the good things and realize that, okay, there were some bad things, but catching those things before they become really, really bad things and going, you know what, I'm going to cut it off here and say this is all the good stuff, and I'm going to keep that good stuff and I'm bring it into my current life and just keep on bringing it in, and thereby increasing my my benefits, my life. It's not always an easy thing, because some bad things just happen and they can overwhelm and that can become a part of you every day. Getting rid of that every day, not always easy, and it won't just happen overnight. So patience with yourself, please, patience with yourself. I get things that come up from my past that, sometimes I get a bit overwhelmed, and I go, you know what, no, there's no reason for that. Have there been anything to indicate that this will keep going on? If so, is it going to really matter to me? Do I want to bring it over into my future? All that sort of other stuff. And it is a challenge, and the temptation to just completely wipe it and say it's all bad. I mean, a lot of people talk about, just going on with every day, business as usual, it's all bad if you're just doing that and you're not recognizing that there are bad things going on. I said, I can recognize there are bad things going on, but also recognize that there are a lot of good things going on, and you want to bring and enhance those good things to overwhelm the negative things, and thereby having a much, much brighter future and a much, much happier life. I mean, seriously, there's plenty of people out there doing massively, awesomely good things, and there's just such a big heart, and they're taking into consideration a lot of things. They want to bring other people together, and really enhance the world. That is such an admirable thing. There's a thing that's going on at the moment called teamtree.org, where there's a couple of YouTubers. There's one guy called Mr. Beast. He's actually a pretty out there YouTuber. He's taken on a lot of dares, and he's been dared to plant 20 million trees. It's around the world. So he's teamed up with Arbor Day, planting. Well, I want to plant 20 million trees. Last time I looked, they're up to about $5.9 million raised to plant trees, which they're going to start next year in January to plant the trees. 20 million new trees. No, they're not just random trees everywhere. They're international. They look at the what's native around the area, what's needed, what's an area that needs to be retreed, so to speak. Trying to get the lungs of the world going again. In helping to absorb all that carbon, because that's what it does. It absorbs the carbon, absorbs a lot of the radiation, absorbs a lot of the pollution, processes it, puts it back into the ground. Now that's a bloody good thing. And that's stuff that you want to keep. Some people poo-poo and says, it's just a band-aid system. So no, this is a long-term solution, you guys. And getting to change people in a way to say, look, we want to do this, even if it's like hard, even if it's going to take decades, is a good thing, because that's a much better cultural change than something that's just really, just for 5 minutes or something like that, or just because people want to get their high on. But anyway, have there been things that you've had in your past, good or bad, sometimes you dwell on? What do you want to bring from your past that's good into your future? I know that bad things will keep coming up, and sometimes you can get negatively triggered, and just your brain goes into a weird situation. That happens to me. How you process it. Do you talk with people? Do you consult with them? Do you work through it? Or just sit there in resentment and stew in it? That's not a good thing. Sometimes you can talk about it overly much, spend too much time dwelling on it, processing it, not enough time sort of moving on and getting on with business. So, what are you doing about it? Do you want it to rule your life? I don't know about you, but I know life is pretty good. Yeah, there's some not so good bits, but try not to concentrate on them. Deal with them and put the least amount of energy that you need to put into it to deal with it, and let it rest. Not just short term, but long term. Basically, just set things up so it's going to just eventually just peter out. So you don't have to pay any attention to it whatsoever. And then just get on with life, because it's awesome and the grass is green. It's not necessarily on the other side. It's a beautiful day. So the past. Have you seen things in the past that was actually good? Like, not all the things in the past are actually bad. What are the things that you can lament the loss of that's gone on in today's society? Chivalry for me is one thing. Men being men. And a lot of people say, it's toxic and stuff like that. That's just bullshit. There's a lot of things that happen in the growth of men and women where things just are just the way they are, because that's the nature of men and women and people in general. So what are some things that you want to bring into this, that you would like to see being brought forward? Morning, Cat. I like chivalry. Just manners. Distinct lack of manners going on these days. A distinct lack of people being able to recognise and being able to differentiate and read a situation properly. I think that comes from people just having things put out there for them and just done for them, and just, that's one thing about in the kink world, negotiations and all that. You can negotiate and things are out there, but then there's a lack of exploring, lack of being able to read somebody properly. The nuances are no longer there. Negotiation's good as a start in the beginning, but as you go along, a lot of negotiations will either drop off or be a bit more fluid. And that I noticed that, you know, your body did this or this happened, and I was unsure about this and that, and then you just incorporate that naturally into your life and your lifestyle. I don't think there's a lot of that goes on these days. Anyway, Tuesday, sunny day. Don't know what the weather's going to be like, but it seems to be, you know, pretty nice. Summer is definitely coming. Winter is gone. It's spring. I got a lot of things growing. I should take a picture and show you guys. It's very awesome. Anyway, I have little cukes growing. Bye. Love you guys.